lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm gonna get a lot of dislikes on this video because I'm Marie Kondoing the crap out of my book collection. It's not like I'm gonna keep 30 books and that's it. First of all, can I just say that whoever... Oh, you know what? I should have probably shut the window before I started this because you guys can obviously hear all those sounds of nature. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the fact that everybody is feeling attacked by a very cute woman saying that she only likes to keep 30 books. Okay, it is her book collection, and it is the people that need cleansing, you know, that have a small book collection. Why does that give you any right or any reason to feel personally attacked by it? I'm just saying, you can have as many books in your collection as you want. I can as well. I'm a consumer, as you can see. I'm proud of it, really. But there are some books in my collection that do not spark joy. I've found it hard to even, like, experience joy for the longest time. A big part of it has been the clutter in my room, and I have been Marie Kondoing everything in my closet at the moment. And yeah, that's definitely worked. There's some sort of order to it. A lot of people experience joy straight away from it. I'm still trying to, like, experience some sort of joy from it. Oh my goodness. I'm Marie Kondo languaging right now. I can't even with myself. The reason why I've been trying this experiment out is because I've had the worst year so far. Not really the worst year so far, but I came out of such an amazing year, and then all of a sudden 2019 has been so stressful, and my soul has been craving change, and I found passion in a place finally, after not being passionate for anything at all, only to be let down by that. And you know, like, I'm trying to pick myself back up, and I'm trying different methods to pick myself back up. Marie Kondoing / KonMari, and decluttering is included. I've had this unhaul pile for around 6 months now, and it has been building and building and building up, and it has been taking up a portion of my room, and I think it's about time that I film this unhaul video because it is getting ridiculous. It is getting out of control, and I just cannot handle it. So before I continue on, and before I proceed and show you all the books that I am getting rid of, first of all, I can't send these all out to you guys. I do not have the financial means to do so.
But G-Swizz, like, we'll pay you back.
I do not have the financial means to do so. I would really highly appreciate that you guys do understand my situation. It's a bit of a difficult one, and it's not out of, like, being selfish or anything like that, but I need to get rid of these books ASAP. Unfortunately, I do not have time to go to the post office, so I can't afford to be lending money out right now. I've been lending my sister hundreds of bucks for her wedding at the moment, and I am financially struggling because I really do want to support my sister, and I do not have a high-paying job at the moment. So I'd really appreciate that you guys do understand that I do not necessarily have the financial means to do so at the moment. I haven't bought a book in, like, let's say 3 weeks now, and it feels so weird, but at the same time it feels so relieving and freeing because I know that I have that self-control at the moment. So unfortunately, can't send any of these out. I 100% apologize if you wanted one of these books. I'm sorry. Also, again, like, not every single one of these books I hate. I've probably read them in the past, probably never gonna reread them again, or some of them I do hate, or some of them I don't see myself reading. I apologize if I offend anybody, but honestly, these are my bookshelves and I can do whatever I want with them. I'm just saying. So without further ado, let's get started with this unhaul. The first book I'm gonna be unhauling is a book I got sent unsolicited by Penguin Teen Australia. Christopher Paolini's new spin-off book to the Eragon series. I've never read Eragon. I don't necessarily have the motivation to read it. That's why I can't see myself keeping this on my shelf. I do appreciate that Penguin Teen Australia have been sending me books unsolicited. It's just some of the books, especially if they're spin-off books of series that I'm not interested in reading, I don't see the point. The next 3 that I am planning to get rid of were a last-minute decision. I'm planning to get rid of the Isle of the Lost series by Melissa De La Cruz, which consists of the Isle of the Lost, Return of the Isle of the Lost, and The Rise of the Isle of the Lost. I wanted to read this series, but I'm not crazy about The Descendants. I think that the second movie is really cool. The first movie is cringeworthy as heck, and I do not apologize for saying that. Disney things are okay. If we're talking about Disney things I absolutely love, I love that Marvel is a Disney thing, but I'm not necessarily crazy about Disney princesses and stuff. I've always been a superhero fan. I'm not gonna lie, I do love the concept of the series, but the first book was cringeworthy, the first movie was cringeworthy. I am going to be very honest about about that. And to a degree, it is understandable because I am not the target market. However, there are some middle grade adventures that I absolutely love, and unfortunately, this series is not one of them. I will continue on with the Descendants movies. I will watch the third movie, but I don't think I will continue on with the book series, especially because I read the first book and I just cringed a lot. I don't know whether that's to do with Melissa De La Cruz's writing style or whether it's because that the parents are simply super cringy. Although, I'm not gonna lie, Uma is my fave. So I'm getting rid of this beautiful mess. Oh boy, I forgot to put this in my most disappointing reads of 2018. I did the Love Oz YA challenge last year, and as much as it was awesome that they got me to read a lot more Aussie fiction, there were just some things I was forced to read that I wasn't a big fan of, and this book was one of them. I don't remember too much about it. I do remember that it was just very cringeworthy and the characters were unlikable. That's all I remember about it, and that's not a good thing to remember about it because books that I keep in my collection are meant to spark joy. Yeah, so that sums it up. This one saddens me to get rid of, but I don't think I'm ever really gonna read it. First, by Laurie Elizabeth Flynn. This book is signed. It's not personalized, but it's signed. I won the author's giveaway for this book. And everybody was just retweeting it, and I'm like, hey, may as well retweet. It's a giveaway. I just retweeted it because everybody else was retweeting it. But I ended up winning the giveaway, which is cool. But I'm not interested in the story. I think it's more of like a new adulty situation. Another book that I was sent unsolicited that I'm definitely not gonna read that is also a spin-off is The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. I've had this book not on my shelves, but I've had this book like on my desk for the longest time. It's about time that I got rid of it. I'm never gonna read the series. I'm not even joking there. I know I'm probably gonna watch the Northern Lights TV series only because Lin-Manuel Miranda and Daphne Keane is in it. That's the only reason why I've actually give the whole Northern Lights series a chance, but I'm not interested in it. This one I feel very bad about because I do love the author. I just don't like the book and it doesn't spark joy, but then also it's personalized to me, which is sad, but I will give the author other chances for sure because they have so many different series out there and they have impressed me before. It's just unfortunately this book didn't impress me, and that's Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. I wanted to like this book. I didn't connect with it. I do love Sabriel by Garth Nix. I think Garth Nix is a very awesome guy. I've met him twice. He's signed by a Porson trilogy. All of them are personalized, and so I do have some personalized books by Garth Nix, and even though this one is personalized, I don't think I could keep Frog Kisser because I don't think I can reread it. It was a decent read. It was okay. There was nothing special about it. Another book I'm planning to get rid of is a spare copy of A Court of Wings and Ruin. I have this book already. I may have bought the last Akko War box from the YA Chronicles, like months after the Akko War box came out. I just wanted the items in it, but I was left with a spare book. I've just kept it in here for the longest time. I've tried to figure out if I was gonna use it in any way, but I'm not. There's literally no use for a second copy of this book, especially because the book isn't even that great, let's be real. Okay, yep, I'm definitely getting rid of Found by Fleur Ferris. Yeah. No, I'm joking. And I'm not gonna step on you. This was an overwhelming disappointment. I've talked about it in my most disappointing reads of 2018. I'm getting rid of The Giver Quartet by Lois Lowry. I love these covers. These covers are very pretty. It's just that I've heard from a booktuber I trust. Her name is Murphy Napier. I really love her channel. She's one of my faves. She recently read The Giver Quartet and she did say, I mean, it's worth finishing to see what happens, but it's not a satisfying quartet necessarily. I would definitely love to reread The Giver at one point. I did like the movie. I think that the movie was really cool, even though it was a bit cringeworthy at times and they made it a bit too Divergent-like. I think that the movie was pretty cool, and I did read the book before I watched the movie. I feel like the movie kind of expanded upon the world and also gave it some sort of closure, but if you continue on with the book series, it's like a completely different situation. I was interested to read this book series at one point, but I don't want to read a book series that I'm not satisfied with. Alright, we've almost emptied out my first box. The next book I'm planning to get rid of is Brother Band by John Flanagan. It's the first book, Outcast. I was given this book for free because I was purchasing The Trials of Apollo, the Hidden Oracle from Dimmicks. They were like, hey, you're purchasing a middle grade. We had some middle grade books we're trying to get rid of. This was the book. Like, they had this book in bulk behind the counter. It was really cool. I received it as a freebie. However, I don't know if I'm ever really gonna read it. I don't know. I might be interested in this book at some point in my life, but at the moment, I'm not really. This is like a 5-book series, and at this moment of time, I'm not ready to commit. So I am going to unhaul this one. I mean, you guys could have expected this one. So Whisper by Lynette Noni. I haven't made up my mind whether I'm gonna keep my own copy or not, but I have 2 copies of this. I received 2 copies, one from the YA Chronicles and one from the Never Never book box. Both of them being signed. Yeah. This is awkward. Let's just say that I hate this book. with a passion. I love Lynette Noni. I will be reading Vardasia. I will be reading other books by her in the future. I will not be continuing on with the series though. There are just too many things in the series that make me cringe, and it is literally a Shatter Me ripoff. And I am not apologetic about saying that at all. I'm very strong in that belief. I'm not saying that you will like this series if you like Shatter Me, but if you want to read something that's pretty similar to Shatter Me, Whisper is your book. If you want to read a book that is Stranger Things meets Divergent, this is not your book. This is not your book. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give my friend the other copy. I'm getting rid of this book not because I hate it. This is actually one of my favorite books ever. It's just, I have a special edition of it now. I think that it's about time that I moved on from this paperback edition. That My Friends is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This book means the world to me. But I have the collector's edition, which has the bind up with the novellas in it. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I want to keep this copy, but shelf space is technically an issue. I need to have self-control. Says the person with like 4 or 5 copies of Divergent. The next book I'm planning to get rid of is Golden Hand by Garth Nix. The reason why I'm getting rid of this one is because I got given this at an Ellen and Unwin book event, and it is taller than all of my Abhorsen trilogy books, and they just released the shorter edition of this, and I will be buying that. Guys, shut up and take my money. Another book I was sent by a publisher unsolicited, in fact, Penguin Teen Australia again. This was a book I was excited to read at one point, but unfortunately I'm just not excited to read it anymore. That, my friends, is The Truth and Lies of Ella Black by Emily Barr. This book, I think at one point, had under 3 stars on Goodreads. I don't know if it still does or not, but being somebody who is not a big fan of thrillers to begin with, and to see that rating, it's not that I would judge a book based off of its Goodreads rating, but thrillers aren't necessarily my thing. And so when I see a rating like that on Goodreads and see something that I'm not really that interested in with that rating, it kind of turns me off in a way. So I just figured it wouldn't do too much damage if I got rid of it on my shelf. I do have another Emily Barr book on my shelf. I might read that one sometime. I might not. Who knows? I don't think I will be reading this one in particular because I'm not that interested in this one, to be honest. The next book I'm planning to get rid of is Lost at Sea by Brian Lee O'Malley. I'm getting rid of this one because as much as I do love Brian Lee O'Malley and I love the art style and I think that the concept is really cool, I'm getting rid of it because I know I'm never gonna reread it. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that my camera stopped recording me mid-talking at one point, but it did. I have to kind of like go back a couple of books quickly again, talk about Lost at Sea. So I know that I'm never gonna reread this. I'm gonna pass this on to a friend who does love graphic novels and comics. As much as it's a really good comic book and I love Brian Lee O'Malley, I have to say goodbye to it because it doesn't really spark that much joy within me to keep it on my bookshelf. The next book I'm planning to get rid of will be the opposite of Here. I'm not interested in this because, again, I'm not a big fan of thrillers. There are some thrillers that do intrigue me and I do potentially want to read, but this isn't one of them, unfortunately. And I do appreciate that publishers are sending me books. I'm gonna be real, like there are a lot of books that publishers do send me that I get really excited about. I'm like, oh my goodness, you sent me that book. Like I heard so much about it. And I'm 100% appreciative of that, and I will acknowledge my privilege. It's amazing. It's honestly such a blessing. Obviously, you can't control which titles they send you. And yeah, there are gonna be some titles where you're not really that interested, and this is one of them, unfortunately. The next book I'm gonna mention is a book that I liked but I didn't love. I received it in a YA Chronicles subscription service unboxing. That, my friends, is The Brightsiders by Jen Wilde. I read this book and it was okay. It was good. It was a 3-star read. It's devastating because I wanted to love this book, but I liked it. It was enjoyable, but I didn't love it. I think that the representation was really cool. Cover's really cool too. I think that it was cool. Just wasn't really necessarily my thing. Next book I'm planning to get rid of is a book that I did like, but I don't know if I'm ever really gonna reread it, and that, my friends, is One by Sarah Crossan. This book has to do with 2 conjoined twins and their tragedy. Honestly, this was such a hard read. I think that it was a very eye-opening read. It was a read that I definitely did need to experience at some point in my life, but I don't think I'm ever really gonna reread this one, and I do want to pass this on to somebody who does want to read this one. I don't want to keep that from them. Final book in this small box will be my 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, UK edition. I just bought the US edition with the gold pages. Also, this one has a Stanley knife cut in the middle of it. Yeah, I have a damaged copy. I received it for free. I got sent it by Walker Books Australia, which was awesome, in exchange for an honest review. But yeah, I wanted the one with the gold pages because goal pages. Like, goal pages equals goals, pretty much. But I did really appreciate the fact that they sent this to me. I'm still so thankful for it. But I will be passing this copy on. 2 Marvel comic book series. First volumes I'm planning to get rid of. First being the Uncanny Inhumans, and the second being Silver Surfer. I do not have any motivation to continue on with the series. They just didn't really have a big impact on me. I've got heaps of Marvel comics on my shelf already, and shelf space, again, is an issue, even if they're very small. And I want Marvel comics that spark joy on my shelf. Another book I was sent unsolicited was Palace of Fires by Bill Bennett. This is the second book in the Palace of Fire series. Oh yeah, the Palace of Fire is the series name. And then Unholy is the second book. I'm not interested in this series. Apparently it's like heavily demonic and stuff. Stuff like that is triggering to me due to former spiritual abuse. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. And so if you ever see me feel uncomfortable when it comes to like supernatural themes on my channel, it is for that reason. There are some triggering things when it comes to a lot of supernatural elements in books. And so I don't want to read this book series for the sake of me risking being triggered, you know? So I'm saying goodbye. And it's the second book in the series of a series that I don't even have the first book for. That's weird. Okay, more books that I was sent unsolicited. I'm gonna go through these ones very quickly. More books I was sent unsolicited over the years. The Taste of Blue Light by Lydia Ruffles. I wanted to read this one at some point, but I'm not as interested as I was back in the day. That pretty much sums it up. It's a thriller as well, so there's that. Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies by Scarlett Curtis. It's not that I'm not interested in the subject matter, it's just that I'm not a big short story / anthology person, so I don't think I'm gonna really enjoy it because I don't enjoy those type of reads. And then finally, Learning to Swear in America by Katie Kennedy. I did want to read this one at some point. It is kind of like a sci-fi standalone. However, it's just been sitting on my shelf for the past few years, not being read. I'm never really gonna prioritize it. And I wish that I could, but it doesn't spark joy keeping it on my shelf. Honestly, that's my go-to explanation for this book on haul. Next thing I'm planning to get rid of is this trilogy right here. Under the Never Sky trilogy by Veronica Rossi, which consists of Under the Never Sky, Through the Evernight, and Into the Still Blue. Now, it's so funny because if I start a series, and if I'm like deep into it, I will finish it. I've only read the first 2. I had every intention of picking up the 3rd one last year, but I don't care. I don't care about the series. Everyone keeps on overhyping it, and they say that it's like such an underrated series and it's worth everybody else's attention. In my personal opinion, it's not really. It's not that I hate the series, it's just I feel like it's overhyped to be an underhyped series, when in reality it's just okay and it's mediocre. Personal opinion. Next book I'm planning to get rid of is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have the US hardbacks of the series. They're so pretty, and I'm not a big fan of tall trade paperbacks. Kind of explains my situation here. This one is going to be very controversial because this is like the favorite series of so many people, and it's a series I read last year, but shelf space again is an issue. And I do have fond memories of the first movie of the series, but not fond enough to keep a full book series. I'm gonna get rid of them. Please don't say they don't spark joy again, G-Swizz. I technically said it just then. That's great. The Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I will still read more by C.S. Lewis. I have his signature classics on my shelf. I did enjoy these. They're not mind-blowingly amazing, but they're pretty good. And I think that I should have read them at a younger age in order to have that sentimental attachment to them. I have a sentimental attachment to the first movie, and that's it. I do not like Prince Caspian, the movie, and I think that the Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie was okay. The book series, it wasn't great. It was okay. That's all I really have to say about it. And so I'm not really interested in keeping them on my shelf. Oh my goodness, this is such a first world problem. So many of these books were sent to me by publishers, and I'm gonna get rid of them. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of selfish to hold on to books that you're never really gonna read if you're not really gonna let them go out into the world, you know? And I'm not gonna read these books. But again, I feel bad because a publisher went out of the way to send these books to me, you know? And so that's these books right here. Only one of them was sent to me for review, and that was Royce Rolls by Margaret Stoll. I did enjoy the book. I think that the book was really cool. However, over time, I don't think that I want to keep it on my shelf, only because I don't think I'm ever gonna reread it. I think that the concept was really cool. It's like reality television, but in book form. But the rest of the books were sent to me / given to me by publishers. Like this one, The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard, was given to me by Alan Unwin Australia. I don't think I'm ever gonna read it because I heard really bad things about it, and I'm not really that interested in the series, and I don't want to have to put my money to the rest of the series if I don't know whether I'm gonna continue on with it or not. And again, I think that it's a thriller as well, so there's that. Another one is Just Breathe by Andrew Dado. I think that it's really awesome that Penguin did send it to me, but at the same time, I don't think I'm gonna prioritize reading it, unfortunately. And then it ends with You. This one was sent to me by Hachette Australia. I appreciate the grand gesture again, but I'm not gonna prioritize these books in particular, and I'm not gonna reread this book. That's why I'm getting rid of these. I don't wanna hold on to books that I know that I'm never gonna prioritize and I'm never gonna read when somebody else could read them. The next book I'm planning to get rid of is a book that I repurchased in the US edition because the US editions are stunning, and I am planning to read the series at some point. This edition, it's not that pretty. That, my friends, is Between the Blade and the Heart by Amanda Hawking. This is the first book in her Valkyrie duology, and I'm really excited to read the Valkyrie duology because last year, I don't know, 2017, I went through a phase where I started loving Norse mythology and I wanted to learn more about the Valkyries. This book series will give me the opportunity to do that, but I'm getting rid of this one because I'm not the biggest fan of this cover, and I think that the other covers are really cool, and I've purchased them in the other covers already because I had a voucher. Don't need a duplicate copy. The next book I'm planning to get rid of is a dust jacketless version of Empire of Storm. The reason why I'm getting rid of this one is because I wanted it for its dust jacket because it had like the cute art style on it, and I want to hang it up on my wall, but I don't need a dust jacketless version of Empire of Storm. I think a lot of you guys saw this one coming. Leviathan Trilogy by Scott Westerfeld. Planning to get rid of this one because Leviathan was not memorable to me. I'm not continuing on with the series because I'm not a big fan of historical fiction. I know that this is an alternative historical fiction, but it still doesn't intrigue me. I'm never gonna prioritize these books on my shelves. I got this book series like 3 years ago. I was only interested because I was interested in reading something by Scott Westerfeld. And I have now read the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld, and I'm happy I read that series because that series was more interesting to me because I'm a fan of dystopia and I love to analyze dystopian fiction. However, with this series, different story. Not a big fan of it whatsoever. Not interested in its premise. I just wanted to read it because it was Scott Westerfeld. That was it. I'm not saying that I'm a diehard fan of Scott Westerfeld. No, I just wanted to read it for the sake of trying Scott Westerfeld out because he's a superstar when it comes to the YA category. I was just about to say genre. I caught myself before I slipped. I am planning to unhaul the Magonia duology by Maria Devona Headley. It's not that I hate this duology, but I'm never gonna reread it. I love the covers. That's not the only good reason to keep them on my shelf, so I'm gonna get rid of them. The next book series I'm planning to get rid of is a book series I repurchased. I love this series. I adore it. It's just I've repurchased them in different editions because the covers are really cool and because I got the new covers at a really good price. And that, my friends, is the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. Like I said, I have them in the new covers, and that includes the new editions of Through the Dark and The Darkest Legacy. I have them in those editions now. Some of them don't really match these editions. Waited for the longest time for Through the Dark to come out in US paperback, but then all of a sudden they announced that there was going to be new covers anyway. But I've agreed to give these to someone, and we just need to meet up and then I can give it to them. That's why I'm saying goodbye to them. Second last book series I'm planning to get rid of is a book series that I've read and I enjoyed. I think that it was really cool. Will I be rereading this book series? No. So should I keep them? No, I shouldn't keep them if I'm never gonna reread them. What's the point? The Dorothy Must Die Quartet. I love how awesome these spines are together. They're so pretty, and I could keep them for the sake of my bookshelf being colorful, but I'm not gonna do that. You know why? Because I'm never gonna reread them. Again, what's the point of keeping them if I'm never gonna reread them? I am interested in reading more books by Danielle Page in the future. However, I'm never gonna reread this. I know that for a fact. Final books I'm planning to get rid of are probably the most controversial, but I'm only getting rid of them because I have new editions of the books. This person's my queen, okay? So like, don't think that I'm hating on my queen. I absolutely adore my queen. I just need to get rid of these books because I need shelf space. The Darker Shade of Magic trilogy by Victoria Schwab, which consists of A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light. These books are amazing. I love them a lot. But I have a Schwab shrine, and these obviously can't fit there. But also, I don't like these covers that much. I do like collector's edition of this cover, so I might just pick that one up. But I'm not gonna keep these ones. It feels good knowing that I've finally done this unhaul because I've been accumulating those books and they've been sitting over here in this corner for months. I am honestly overwhelmingly overjoyed. I am finally getting rid of these books. Again, unfortunately, I'm not in the circumstance where I can send these books out, and I can't afford to rely on somebody to pay me back for something at the moment because I'm lending my sister a lot for her wedding dress. But then also I need to get rid of these books. I've gone through a lot this year, and I'm not just saying that, you know, to get attention. No, but I've gone through so much, and I need some form of normalcy in my life, and something amazing wouldn't be the amount of stress that I have to encounter every single time I walk into my room, thanks to all of the clutter. These books play a big part of that clutter. So, they're gone. Goodbye, books. Thank you. Thank you for serving your purpose. Even if you sucked, thank you. I guess that's gonna be it for this book on haul today, book lovers. Hopefully I didn't lose a bunch of you. I probably did. It's okay, you can unsubscribe, I literally don't care. If you want to, and if you think that Savage G-Swizz is okay, you can follow me on my social media. So I'm at G-Swizzlebooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzle. I love you book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.